6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll pause for a moment of silent reflection.
Did I come? Voluntary group?
Rise and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
In case you're sitting here.
Willie, will you lead us in a roll call and determination of quorum?
I will be glad to.
Steve Denny. Here. Gene Davis here. Jerry Burmeister. Here. Brian Williams. Not here. Marissa Skaggs.
Here. 4 out of 5 members, we have established that we have a quorum. Online in our Google Drive or on our Teams folder, we have a copy of the March 2026 meeting minutes. Any questions, comments, changes regarding those? If there aren't any changes, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the March 2026 meeting minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Meeting minutes have been approved. Moving on to the clerk treasurer's report. Willie, anything you'd like to highlight?
We spent a little bit more, but, we bought a new, piece of equipment for the, street department and water department. A new front loader. It's really nice. And, that's the only thing I really wanted to highlight. The, general fund, everything else in good shape. We still got the State Board of Accounts auditors here. They've been here a couple weeks and probably be here till May, so the girls do their regular job and then they get a list every morning of stuff that they want, so they do 2 jobs, so it's tough. But they're doing fine.
The auditors have been here for about 3 weeks now. Sorry. And you had your entrance interview already. Yeah. Any questions for Willie regarding his report or any of the claims? If there aren't any questions, I entertain a motion for approval of the claims as presented.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the claims as submitted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Claims have been approved. Moving on to department reports. We'll start with Chief Mark Barr.
Good evening. Just had 2 quick little items, that I wanted to touch base about. We had the Sergeant Isaacs was a quitter also, and, so we replaced him with Sergeant Webb. So Brett Webb is our new night shift sergeant, and we're excited to have him come aboard in that position. And everything that I talk about has been approved by the commission, so we played that game.
Great.
And then, by Sergeant Isaac leaving, the promotion up, that left us a empty spot, and we had interviews. We narrowed it down to 2 that we had in-person interviews with, and we have chosen, we've offered a contingent offer to Officer Jordan Beal. Jordan, I believe, is a 22-year-old IU police officer. She's Tier 1 Academy grad. She graduates in May, and she will be starting here in May. We just got confirmation for her perf testing. First of May was the first day. That's how busy they are. So we're excited. She was excited. We gave her the contingent offer. Told her she had 2 days to reply. She replied like, kind of a cool side note. Her mother was on the Royal Guard in England. Kind of cool. And her father was in the military for several years. But we're excited to have her in. And 2042 dispatched incidents for last month. And is that it? Do you have any questions?
Chief, is that gonna be the first full-time female? Okay, I couldn't think of the other ones.
Well, we had Gilly.
Oh, that's right, I forgot about
I've
that.
had a few reserves, and,
Yeah.
yeah, she just, she interviewed very well. She came with great credentials, and, I think she'll be great with them.
Where's she from, Mark?
Huntingburg.
Oh.
It's about an hour south of IU. So she actually, in order to do her schooling at IU and be part of the program to be a Tier 1 officer, she has to do hours at IU as a police officer. So she'll drive an hour from Huntingburg to there, do her time and drive back. So that showed her energy and tenacity. And it's-
Maybe you get her house out here on St. Farms. There's
Actually-
4 of them right there together.
Well, so this is kind of interesting. Her fiance is wanting to be a fireman. And he just got hired at Sheridan. And, so they're looking to move up here, of course. Hopefully they'll move somewhere between the two. But with that being said, there's even talk about him trying to apply to Pendleton. So if that works out, that's great. It would be, yeah.
Nice.
Chief, what's up, put your total numbers out then?
16 of us.
16,
Yes,
right where you've been for, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's, yeah, the increase in numbers with PD has been awesome. The ship's a nice 3 on duty and it's working, yeah.
How's Connie get along?
Connie was in to visit the other day and was doing great. So,
Yeah.
Great. Anything else for Mark? Thanks. Jerry, Mark.
Good evening.
Thanks.
Well, before I give my report, I just want to say thank you to Marissa. It's bittersweet to see you go, but we're so excited for you. Thanks. Thank you for all you've done for this community and for how supportive you've been with me, and just have a lot of respect for you. So, pull it together.
You first.
So for my report, I just wanted to bring up, you guys are really busy getting ready for sports complex. We've had some issues over there, pump station, and some of the fields have had drainage issues. So Carol has worked hard at getting some grants and helping us to get some work done over at those fields. So we're grateful for that partnership. Other than that, we're planting some trees, which is always great to hear. We have 6 going up over at the North 40 and some tulip trees going at the golf course. Over at the golf course, we have a new staff member in the pro shop. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Phil, but he's been a great addition, has filled in really well over there and gets along great with everyone, which is really important. And we brought him in because our beloved Dickie is having some health issues. So it's been nice to have someone to step into that role for a little bit and help out over there. At the pool, we have hired almost all of our staff. Pool doesn't open till end of May 23rd, but it's nice to see all the applications that we've received, a lot more than we thought. And so we have a couple more lifeguards, a couple more concession workers. But other than that, we're doing pretty good over there, getting ready for that opening and, just drawing some excitement back to the pool area. And the last thing I wanted to bring up was our impact fee. So we're working with V3, that's the company providing professional services for our impact fee study. They are continuing to collect data and from the town and from Park. And I'll be looking for members of a required advisory committee when considering people to invite for that committee. V3 follows the state code as far as recommendations for that. And they typically request 5 to 10 people on that board or committee. 40% of that committee will be a housing developer, housing builder, and a real estate representative. And other members will be park board representative, plan commission, and one from the town council. Park board representative is Coco Bill, and the town council, Brian Williams, has agreed to step in for that. And we're just continuing to fill those pieces right now, and that will go to approval to the town manager then. The committee will help review the proposed impact fee and data, provide feedback, and offer input before it ultimately goes to town council for consideration. That's it, unless you have any questions.
It's hard to believe we're already at the sunset of our original park impact fee. And so, now does that have to lay out for 6 months? Okay. Okay. So time is up, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else for Sherry? Thanks.
thanks, Sherry.
Okay, moving on to planning department. Denise McKee.
Not much more, but I'll go. Good evening. And I do want to ditto what Sherry just said. We cannot thank you enough for your leadership. On behalf of our planning department, your vision, your presence, your support. It's just so much appreciated and valuable. We see it every week, the time that you put in to this community. And it's reflective in how great our community is. And it's a domino effect. And we learn from you, each week. So we're definitely going to miss you, but also very happy for you as well.
Thanks.
Okay, so onto the planning department here representing our March numbers. We have here, as you see, that things are starting to pick up. Spring is definitely a rise here. Next slide there, for our board and commissions meetings, we did not have any new business for Planning Commission or Historic Preservation Commission. But as you see, our board zoning appeals has been pretty active, pretty busy already out the gate this year. We did have a couple of petitions, a variance of developmental standards regarding exterior material, and then also a conditional use for livestock raising. Those are continued out until April. These board members, they really do their due diligence to make sure that they take the time necessary to make informed decisions. And so they just need some additional information. We'll come back here in a couple of weeks and be able to kind of conclude those. We did have a variance from Prairie Falls. That's the subdivision that's going to be going north of town there off North Livingston Avenue, where we'll be seeing about 42 homes eventually on a 20-acre parcel. But their variance on a setback there was approved. Urban Forestry also, we had a very accomplished meeting this month. They set the stage kind of for 2026, the roadmap for their goals and objectives. It's always fun to be a part of those conversations because they're very passionate. Also, they discussed the scope of service. We're going to be looking at updating our tree management plan, our tree care manual as an appendix, but then also to our ordinance governing trees and shrubs. We're going to be taking a deep dive into that and seeing where that needs to be updated with kind of new practices and policies. That we look at getting that scope of service here in about 30 days and starting that process here this summer. And then we kind of came back here on the 23rd and 24th, and we got to vote in our top 5 classroom winners for our poster contest that we'll share more information about that. Kim Collier being lead on that, the school at next month's town council. For our development activity, commercial development, our site development process is about in the same stage. We're waiting for some additional documents to come in and approvals from third-party agencies. We did want to go ahead and bring your attention that Culver's did submit a full site development plan. So right now it's under review by the planning department as well as the technical advisory committee. As far as residential subdivisions, Huntsinger Farm, it is steady moving in development there. Baker's Point out to the west, so they're moving quite fast. So we have about 25-ish homes from all phases of development there, in which 13 of them received a final inspection by our building inspector, Brett Mabry, in which certificate of occupancies have been issued. So they're ready for homes and families to move in. As you kind of saw previously, here the first couple of months of the year, development was a little bit slow, including inspections, but I just kind of wanted to bring to your attention that the last 5 weeks here, they have conducted 63 inspections. That's 61 residential. Now that's all from footers to rough-ins to full, complete final inspections, and then a couple of commercial inspections as well. So Brett Mabry and Jim Cook have been very busy up and around our community, and we don't expect it to slow down. Next, we have a road impact zone improvement plan update for you. Planning staff, we've been working hard on taking a look at our projected growth for the next 10 years. That involves looking at how we envision different parcels and which specific parcels and how they will develop. That is inclusive of land use, as well as if it's commercial development, would be square footage projections. And then for residential, it's how many units. So that could be single family and also multifamily build outs on that. So we've turned that into the consultants. They're looking at that right now. They will take that and then they'll add that into the traffic calculations to be able to best determine on which roadways need to be kind of added into our street network and what improvements need to be done. Next step, we'll be looking at pulling our steering committee back together here. We're hoping to be able to get that done by the end of April, if not the very 1st of May. And then we'll be meeting back again at May, because we will be bringing it in front of Planning Commission in June. And then we'll turn around that very next week and we'll be presenting our findings. That is our ordinance and our plan at the June Town Council meeting. As far as our Creative Convergence project, Lexi Duff, she couldn't be here she got under the weather today, so she was hoping to be here tonight. So I'm going to share a little bit about the project that she's been working on. It's the Creative Convergence Project at Pendleton Artway. She has really picked this project up, made us kind of move and build that momentum going forward with not only documentation, but also kind of rallying Pendleton Art Society, the committee, as well as our local artists. So we were able to award 7 local artists for the designs. I'll show that here in a few minutes. And then we had 1/8 that we could fund, but we did not have, it was available for adoption. And so the committee decided to go ahead and allow a community participation project. So at the reveal ceremony, the Pendleton Art Society is going to kind of outline the post, and then the children and the families can come in and paint that in. So I thought that was a wonderful idea that they came up with. We also met with the park board, and they are in full support of having this trail system go in, connect to the Falls Park as well as into Falls Park. So we're very, very excited about that. And so just kind of showing a couple of pages here as Lexi's presentation that she put together. Here's kind of the goals and the purpose, long-term vision of this project. But the main goals here is that we want to create a connection between the historic Pendleton downtown and to the park. We hope that we can draw in not only tourism, but our community members, that not only when they come to the park or come to the downtown, that they're here for a couple hours. We want a day adventure. So having these type of projects encourage people to come in and engage. And if they're down at the Barnhart Field and they learn about this project, it will just kind of naturally just guide them into the downtown. So then hopefully they'll end their day at one of the restaurants here in the downtown. So that's one of the big goals, as well as supporting our local artists, educating participants along the way. It's an interactive trail. So they'll have a QR code that they will use, and then it'll be fed to the town's website that will give information about the local artists. It'll give background story as far as their design and creation, as well as maybe talk about different nature or art or community history that is relevant in the area in which that those trail markers are located. So we're very excited about this project. Just the next slide kind of gives you a little bit of a visual. This is a customized base that we have down here to the bottom here through Streetscape. And then those artists can either paint, carve, add items within certain guidelines to it. And then you can see to the far right, you know, what kind of artwork can kind of go on there. A lot of them were very nature centric, so it was very great to see. But we had some that's a little bit more modern art. So I think it'll be a great experience for our community. And then the last page here is you'll see kind of the potential location. So starting maybe here from the gallery walkway all the way to the depot parking lot. We've got a trail through there, hitting the playground, the falls, and then we have that trail that goes between the soccer fields at the community building, dog park area, and leading up into Barnhart Field. We thought it would be perfect for activities like for soccer, for the Park Fest events and so forth, for people to kind of engage in this experience. One thing just kind of want to bring to your attention, we did find out then our green pressure treated posts were a little bit more recently treated than what we anticipated. So we need a little bit more time for them to dry out for that paint to adhere to it. So we contacted Indiana Arts Commission. We have until the end now of June to be able to expend all the grant dollars for this. And it actually worked out perfectly because we are going to showcase these at the 4th of the Falls and have that community experience for them to come in and design that last trail marker. And then Indiana Arts Commission, they're able to come and be with us during that presentation, that ceremony. So really worked out well. Okay, the next one is our Main Street Pendleton. Two of the big highlights here for them is that we had to submit our self-assessment. This is something that's done every other year with Indiana Main Street. This is very important because this upholds and keeps us with our recognition as an accredited Main Street with Indiana Main Street. Also, our Main Street Pendleton is not only recognized as an accredited Indiana Main Street affiliation or organization, but they are also affiliated with Main Street America, which is a national recognition. So we're not quite accredited yet, but we are affiliated. So there was a lot of work that went into this, and this application process, a lot of time was spent by Connor Grant and Lexi Duff. And I cannot thank them enough for the time that they put into it. I think that the responses that they put in, and even was commented by Teresa Cameron from Indiana Main Street, that she really appreciated the input, the honesty, the true analysis of kind of where we're at and where we want to go to. And we're very excited to say that they still hold that recognition. So, also Downtown in Blue, we've got Lisa Floyd, a community member, also staff at the South Mountain Community Foundation. She does these beautiful, coordinates the beautiful flowers within the downtown area. That'll be coming up here in May. But Main Street is raising support for that. So those packets and notifications all went out here a few weeks ago. And then next week, they're going to be sending out their downtown support program packets. So keep an eye out for that. I know that they really appreciate your support. And two, I think that they're on their way of really developing a good, strong foundation and start to their new year. Okay. US 36 reroute Water Street intersection planning study. We just held our public informational meeting last week. That was on the 31st at Pendleton Heights High School, led by Scott Sandstrom, our consultant. He did an amazing job. We had a great turnout from the community, stakeholders, and community leaders. This long vision study, supported locally and regionally, was presented to the public. And the great thing about this opportunity is that there was opportunity for feedback from the community. So that feedback is going to be then tallied and collected. And then that will then kind of guide those 4 alternatives that were presented that evening to determine what best combination of those alternatives could be, you know, for when time could come if a road can be constructed in that manner. Just some things just to kind of, important things to keep in mind is that it is a planning study only. The final preferred alternatives are kind of going to be a blend of the alternatives that were presented that evening. No construction is planned or funding identified, at this time. And it is all dependent upon development for when that comes. And once those final alternatives are finalized, we'll be presenting that to Planning Commission and Down Council. So just some images from that evening. The Business Park Trail, we had the day before, we had another great experience. We had our field check. There was about 20 individuals representing. You can go on to the next slide. You see there the picture of the group there, but you'll see several entities, agencies that came out that day that were present to be able to give their feedback for wherever their infrastructure or their utilities may be impacted along this trail. They gave some valuable insight and considerations for our final design for this project. And we had a lot of fun, and I think Scott has some in his presentation, some fun pictures. Pendleton Arts and Culture Plan, the public survey went out. We have collected about 75 survey responses already. So please do get on there. It's really a neat process because at one point in that survey, you can select where you envision arts and culture to be added into our community, where you feel that there's some voids and some needs of attention for an art-centric community. So after, not when you're doing it, but after you have submitted your response, you can go in and you can see everyone's response. So I thought it was really cool to feature that they added to that program. Designing Local has been great to work with. And the next one, Martin Parking Lot Revitalization Project. This is a project, that we do lease parking there at Tyler Martin's property there south of State Street here. Parking is a necessity, high priority for our downtown community and our downtown businesses. Scott and Hannah Rose have been working with Tyler Martin on this project, as well as Rick Bowen and his crew at the street department. Soon here in the next month, you'll be seeing some resealing and restriping to better maximize the use of that space. So we're really looking forward to that. And then we have our gallery walkway, also a project that Scott and Hannah Rose has been working with Tyler Martin on, as well as our community. This is the the little area between Pendleton Art Society and Tyler Martin's insurance building there. And they are going to be replacing that asphalt pavement for improved aesthetics for some brick that will be installed here once the parking lot has been completed. We also have a local community member, Scott Stottlemyre. He's also a member of Pendleton Art Society, also our placemaking committee, and he is working with that committee to come up with a design for a nice archway that will be visible from State Street. So a lot of fun things coming up. And last here, we have a food drive this coming Saturday. This is a partnership between the Madison County 250 Committee, also the Town of Pendleton, the Chamber of Commerce, and then also Main Street Pendleton. So we will be here on Saturday morning from 10 to 11. There are items there that you'll see visible on our social media. We've got some flyers out here. Please bring it. It'll support South Madison Food Pantry. So I know that they'll improve that. So I appreciate that. Sorry. All right.
Any questions for Denise?
Denise, your sign says 10 to 1, not 10 to 11.
Oh, it is 10 to 1. Did I say
On
10
the
to 11? On the 11th, 10 to 1. I
It's
do
on the 11th.
apologize. Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Thanks. Anything else for Denise? Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott.
Well, Kim, we're sending you a well-experienced leader.
I know.
So I did some calculations. She was getting paid $3 less an hour than our lowest intern. So, how long was it? How long was your term?
Oh, I've been here for 5.5 years.
So 5.5 years, so roughly 4. So
Yeah.
4 years of internship, I think she's ready to go, right? More than a doctor. So, but what I remember most is that Marissa contributed to the community, I think, is the growth strategy. We came out of COVID and the community had been some pent up apprehension about how our growth was going to go. And so even though it's not a very visible document, I think in the long run, people will sort of forget about it, but I don't think the community will. And I think because the feedback was never negative, it was always positive, and I think it was the right plan at the right time. And so, hats off.
Thanks.
Um,
I thought you were gonna say my wonderful prowess of doing advanced physics was gonna be the thing you were gonna take away.
okay, I do have to brag. She knows physics. When you said Q equals velocity times the area, I knew Q is the quantity of water. We were trying to figure out how deep would the falls be if the dam was down? Like how much higher would it be, right? And she goes, well, we just figure Q times A times V, and then we'll work it backwards, which unless you've been through engineering school or you're Marissa, you don't understand it, right?
A lot of useful knowledge or useless knowledge, depending on the day.
And she does have great detective skills. You know that. How many problems got solved for us? Well, we thought, oh, this will take an hour of research, and while we were talking about it, she figured it out. Yeah, that's true. So, but anyway, thank you. Appreciate all your time. And I can say, because for 20 years, I had clients that were cities and towns, and I've never known a town board member that ever was more dedicated.
Thanks.
Okay, so what are we gonna get into? So first, we're gonna brag. So Craig and Jacob and I went to the IMPA annual conference. There was about 20 communities that were part of a tabletop exercise for a cyber attack. And Jacob was the star, and that's because he's been through one. And I had to guard him with my life so that none of those mayors and town managers would steal him, because our group was the only one that really had consistent answers for the scenario. I don't want to tell you what the scenario is, because A, that would be bad, maybe some bad guys listening. But B, we're going to try and do that ourselves later on in the year. One of the surprising lessons learned is how important the billing department is for detecting if we do have a cyber attack. We actually do have cyber attacks, but because of different things that are set up, it never penetrates our firewall. Our 9-star holds our server. And so we're multiple layers back before we have even a hint of anything that's ever happened to us. We've had a couple of things that were turned out to be very minor. But the other lesson learned is that we're ahead of most communities, but we've still got a lot to do. And that's what the third bullet point is. We got to keep moving forward and keep intensifying what we're doing. The reality is if you don't do it, your insurance premiums for a city or town will eventually exceed your physical casualty loss. Your cybersecurity premiums will get even higher than that, probably in the next decade or so. If you haven't been down to where our landfill is, we had Fesslers come in with their bulldozer, expand that, flatten it out because IDEM, almost made a bad word there. IDEM banned the burning of brush by cities and towns. So we have to either compost it or chip it. We did go ahead and chip all the wood that accumulated, limbs, brush, that sort of thing. We do have a lot of hard landfill that we have out there and from concrete that we've had to pull up, that sort of thing. And then finally, hot asphalt is available for patching. So some of the chuck holes that have been notorious throughout the winter, you should have started to see some of them get patched. Next slide. So I'm very proud of the work the street department did. This is Oak Street. The photo on the left is on the other side of Broadway. So that's the sort of the before, but it's its twin sister. It's just across the street from Broadway. So it's got asphalt. It's a very rough surface. So when a baby carriage, a wheelchair, or just anybody walks across that approach, they're going to trip. So what we did is on the other side, this is our pilot project. I talked about it earlier and showed you some pictures when they first took it out. So just to remind you what we did, we decided to go ahead and pull out brick and pour a sidewalk. So the brick that was under the sidewalk came out. And then when the weather was right, they just did, this is just this week, they went ahead and pulled all the brick out of the approach, peeled off, of course, the asphalt, put down the brick, and that's the same brick that was in that approach. And just look how nice that looks. The other thing too, they improved is just how that approach meets the gutter line. So it's not as stark. I'm sure some of us have scraped our bumpers on some of the approaches off of Broadway. So we're gonna go forward with this. I think if we have a contractor that's pouring a sidewalk, we'll ask them to go ahead and pull up the asphalt as part of the project and relay the brick. And we wanted to do this ourselves to show the contractors that will be doing our sidewalks on Broadway exactly what needs to be done. So very proud of their work there. Life in a small town. We missed a little disaster. This was over the Easter weekend. That delivery truck in the background is our suspect. He, not really his fault in a way. The fiber optics company had strung some fiber across the pole, but it was wrapped around a heavy structural cable. He caught the cable. That truck had been delivering there for years. It was a foot lower. He caught it. It snapped the pole. The reason I took this is those are 3 phases on top, which are so powerfully insulation is useless, so they're not insulated. It's at the corner of the elementary school, and it's supplying the power to our water treatment plant. So triple disaster waiting to happen, right? The guys got out there and that night got it up and running, and thank goodness it wasn't during a school day and we have a second water treatment plant, so no problem with the water, the old water treatment plant. Next photo. So this is my fun photo. There's Hannah on the left with a very important person to the town. That's Kim from MnDOT. She handles a lot of our projects. And then that's Denise on the other side. Looks like she's going deer hunting. And that was an engineer from United, right?
Yeah.
I remember right, yeah. So anyway, that's part of the trails that comes down the hill towards Fall Creek Drive, right at the town landfill. All right, next photo. Just a reminder, you have this when we talk about the parcels for the circuit, like I've done the last 2 or 3 meetings. Next slide. That we'll talk about that here in a bit. So you go on to the next one. Elm Street. I am convinced that this will be a beautiful project, but the construction gods are making us pay the price for it. There's been delay after delay. It started out with Frontier putting us 2.5 months behind and therefore into the winter. And then we've had a lot of just contractor problems everywhere from maintaining the maintenance of traffic to doing something 2 steps forward, coming back, not doing it right, and having to do it all over again. So our deadline's to be done by the end of May, and I think we're going to be all right. They plan on paving the second part tomorrow. So that'll be the truth teller, I think, for the rest of the project timeline. Next slide. McCarty Drain is substantially complete. All that's left is for them to do the grading and landscaping. Because of the problems that we had underneath the railroad, there's going to be an extra addendum of about $80,000 in costs. But this project was bid below our engineer's estimate, so we still should be okay. North Heritage Way, there, because there was no traffic, we went ahead and waited till this spring to put the last final layer, the smooth layer on the road that's been built out there. You'll see that happen next week. Slide. That's it.
Any questions for Scott? A lot of stuff going on this spring. Awesome. Okay, moving on. We have no old business. So moving on to new business. Resolution 2026-03 right-of-way acquisition. This is what Scott was talking about on South Main / Hamilton Avenue. This was continued from March due to a little bit of a paperwork delay regarding the appraisals. And so now we are set to go. Is that correct, Scott?
Right, and so, at the advice of Dinsmore, they worked up a resolution that, is sort of a blanket resolution, because we think we have some other parcels going forward that will be over 25,000 for the purchase. And so instead of having to come back to you each time, it just gives,
Can you hear me?
gives the authority to just move forward on, all the parcels.
Any questions regarding these right-of-way acquisitions? Okay. Then if there aren't any questions, I'll entertain a motion for approval of resolution 2026-03 right-of-way acquisition for South Main / Hamilton Avenue.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of resolution 2026-03 right-of-way acquisition. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Okay, moving on to ordinance 2026-04 residential subdivision street speed limits. We've been kicking this around for several months, and now we've decided to just do an ordinance to kind of clean up some of this and make it an easy
Universal.
a point that we can manage it from here. Dinsmore has been instrumental in helping us get this organized and satisfy state code to allow us to do that. A&F Engineering also has reviewed this, and they support the speed limits as they are presented here. I kind of lovingly refer to this as the cleanup ordinance, because if you remember back probably 4 months ago, we put this was closer to a year ago, we put speed limits in Foster Branch, and then also in Shane's neighborhood Pines of Deerfield. And it was kind of a mess. It was kind of like a Frankenstein of a ordinance. And so now we have like one place where these all live, and that will be very nice for all of us. Scott, anything else you want to add?
So A&F did drive it, and to make sure that the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit, which is going to be universal on the neighborhood streets, a couple of the through boulevards will be 25, such as Carrot Glen Boulevard and Singer Boulevard. But one of the input, this is based on a lot of input from the public, because they would see 30 in their subdivision and then 20 or 25 in another. So we're just making it universal. And there's a little bit of science to it based on the radius of the curves and all that engineering nerd stuff. So anyway, we hope everybody is happy with this, I think.
But if we would have a problem with one particular street, we can come back and address that at that time.
Try and drive 30 miles through these subdivisions. I mean, before.
I mean, I don't advise trying.
Yeah, it is not. Yeah, yes, particularly after tonight. If you try, let me put this, if you try,
We don't need
30 miles an hour would seem like you're doing a turn one in the 500, so.
any questions or comments regarding this? This is an ordinance that requires two presentations. So tonight will just constitute first read. So do I have a motion and a second to constitute first read of this?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second, so that constitutes first read. This will proceed to the May meeting where we will do second read. Okay, Scott has been working diligently with Dinsmore regarding the bid process for disposal of garbage, waste, recycling. Do you want to give a brief update on
Yeah,
that?
so, our current contract, which I think Best Way has done a good job for us. It was a 4-year contract. It was extended for 1 year and it expires in the 1st of November. So for the feedback we've got from other potential bidders and Best Way, they'd like to have several months ahead. Because if they are the winning bid, they need to plan for that. So our plan is tonight, just to voice vote to get your permission to release the bid notification and the bid specs. One of the things we are gonna ask for, although the bid competition will be based on the cost to collect the trash and recycling, we're also gonna ask them that as an option, they can describe what they would like to do if they want to offer yard waste pickup. So it'd be a subscription like the recycling. And then we'll see what that looks like and decide whether we want to add that to our services. But that's just a side note. The bid will be based on recycling and trash only. And it will be specified so that the 96 gallon cans are in place. That's really, which is what most waste disposals are going to, is a automated system with a universal 96 gallon. If they want to do something, they can offer smaller. If they want to offer something different, then they just have to justify it. You know, maybe they use a 94 gallon can, that's fine, you know, but at least the standard we're starting with is 96.
Scott, will they do a heavy trash pickup once a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it's in there. It'll be in the bid specs that they have to do that.
And the last time we did this, we really only had one.
Yes.
This year, we already have had interest from
Yeah.
4 companies.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to a competitive bid process on this more so than what we experienced the last time.
Yes.
Which was kind of a bummer. So,
Yeah. I think we'll have at least 3 good ones, probably maybe 4.
any questions? Then I will look for a motion to allow Scott to distribute those bid packets.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second for Scott to enter into the bidding process regarding collection and disposal of garbage and waste. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Scott, you have our permission. Okay, moving on to pickup trucks. Scott, I'll let you talk about these.
Okay, so remember, I've talked a little bit about our fleet replacement program and what we settled on with our department heads is that the trucks that are now 5 years old, we played with the idea of trading them in while they are still under warranty and they still carry a high value. What we've decided is to go ahead and keep those and through a replacement of 3 this year, 4 next year, and then 3 the year after that. Eventually, those trucks will be the oldest trucks and will get to a point in 4 years where the oldest truck will not be more than 4 years old. And then we'll start a trade cycle. So we'll be getting rid of trucks before they're out of warranty, right? which is a cost savings to us. And then also at their peak value, for trade-in, and so we'll be able to dispose of those at the maximum dollars. So that's the overall plan. We received 3 bids. One we had to throw out because it was enterprise. We wanted straight purchase. Recommendation of our clerk treasurer, he said probably didn't want to mess with a lease. And so we threw that one out. It was sort of an odd configuration. It was a $1 lease, but a direct purchase. I don't know how that works. I refer to the expert. We got 2 bids from Stanley, and the other one was from Ed Martin. They were a whopping $4.70 apart. So the winning bid was Ed Martin at $55,000, 55 and $12.00. So one will be purchased by electric utility, one will be purchased by water, and then probably a combination of those funds for the third truck. And with that, open to questions.
Any questions for Scott regarding these trucks?
So the truck you're talking about, Scott, and the payloader that you were talking about earlier, 2 separate,
Oh, yeah.
2 separate completely. Okay.
If there aren't any questions, I'll entertain approval for Scott to be able to buy these trucks.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to allow Scott to buy some pickup trucks. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Scott, go buy some trucks. Okay, we'll open it up for public comment.
I just have a couple questions. Does does the town have a tornado warning system?
We use Nixle, which is what our fire department has told us to use. It's a web-based managed by EMA. You opt in and it alerts to inclement weather of severe thunderstorm watches, severe thunderstorm warnings, as well as tornado warnings and watches at the discretion of the emergency management of the county. So we do not have a siren system. There are a few isolated sirens within the town limits, like there's one out on South 600 West.
Yes.
But beyond that, we do not have a central alarm system.
So how do they alert us then?
We opt, the Nixle service is what the fire chief has told us to all download and use.
Do we also still provide the radios?
We do have weather radios
Yes.
for sale in the office.
Okay, the reason I ask is, I live on John Street
Mhm.
where the last tornado that came through Pendleton.
Yeah.
First and last, hopefully.
Uh-huh.
It destroyed our street.
Right.
And I got an alert through my phone. First, I didn't believe it, and then I decided I better get to cover, which I was glad I did. But, we've been having such bad weather, and some of us have been talking about, my friend lives out on 600.
Mhm.
And she'll say something about, did you hear the tornadoes? No, didn't hear it. And so I was just wondering how we know. How we find out.
EMA, we did a study a long time ago, and EMA came out and said the tornado sirens are not effective enough. They said the Nixle system is actually faster to alert you, and everybody usually has their cell phone on them, with them or somewhere near, and it goes right to you, and it's very early. It's very early detection,
Okay,
so it helps them out, and it will help you notify you earlier than it would be hearing a siren.
okay, so back when we had the tornado, is that what came over my phone?
Yeah, because I was actually at my house, and I just lived just north of here,
Yeah,
and I had 3 alarms go off.
okay,
So yeah, the Nixle, I would suggest sign up for it.
so
If
you
don't
have to
it.
sign up for it.
It's a text-based, I'm sure it's probably on the website or something, or EMA has it, the Nixle, where you can just text the number to it, and it goes to your phone, it sends you an email. And you
Is
can
it-
send it to a friend if you want, and it just goes.
Was that something that we could let at least town people know
Absolutely.
through
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
utility bill
Yeah.
or something?
that's a great idea.
Because I'm hoping, my dad always told me a tornado would ever hit here. And when it hit, I talked to him
Yeah.
quite a bit. But, and thank God no one
Yeah.
really got injured. I mean, it was property damage, but still, Yeah,
One of the challenges with the tornado siren, like, I live off of 600, so I have the luxury of having both my cell phone and the siren.
Yeah.
One of the criticisms of the siren, because it's managed by EMA, it goes off if it's even just like, or a thunderstorm watch, which is like the lowest level.
right, right.
And so sometimes there's a little bit of criticism as to, okay, well, that's going off. What's happening? Is this imminent? Is it a watch? Is it a warning? It doesn't give a descriptor. And so there's a little bit of criticism regarding that. I think our local safety expert, Mark, had something he wanted to.
I was just gonna add, the weather radio, it's cheap, I think it's $20.
Yeah.
But having that set up, it doesn't make any noise until there's a storm. And you can also set it up the way I like to do it is Hamilton County and then Madison County because of the west-east
Because
movement.
it's coming.
So that way you get a little bit of a warning, something coming over the border.
Yeah, when I was principal, we had one in my office,
There you go.
Yeah.
you know, I just didn't know because of the, mainly the one out there,
Mhm.
like where you live.
And that was a situation, to give you the full story, I guess I feel like talking because it's my last meeting, might as well make the most of it. When my neighborhood and several other neighborhoods out there had fought annexation, like back in the early 2000s, they had formed basically kind of like a pack, and this money had sat there for 15 years. So then when they decided that they were going to be annexed, there was this big thing about, like, well, what are we gonna do with this money that we have out here? And because it's Green Township, they then contacted Greg Valentine and said, what could we use this money for? And Greg said, let's put up a tornado siren. And so Greg was the one that did that, with the funds that had been previously used to fight annexation. Once everyone decided to be annexed, it didn't much matter what that money was gonna be used for, but they thought a tornado siren was a prudent use of it. And
Yeah.
so that's how that siren came to be out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah, no problem.
A second thing, I just happened to be down close to where the fire trucks come out on Broadway. And, you know, I really appreciate our fire department. I didn't know how many runs they have. I mean, there are tons.
Mhm.
I mean, tons during the day, because I hear the sirens
Yeah.
going every which way. But down there, you know, in a lot of places, like on 53rd Street where the fire station is, there's a light. And I just happened to be down there when they got a call and they started to go out, and here are all these cars coming. And of course, they're tooting their sirens and stuff, but I'm just sitting there thinking, this is an accident waiting to happen. Has that been discussed about maybe putting something?
I'll let Scott deal with that one, because Scott has dealt with this.
Well, and I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought of it if I hadn't been there and saw it, and I'm like, oh no, somebody's gonna get crashed.
So there is a flashing light. There was one going both ways. One got taken down.
Oh.
So these two signals are, under design. I don't know when we'll get the funding for it, but they'll become smart. And part of that project will be, to upgrade the flashing warning for the fire station. And if there's another project, we're gonna reconstruct that intersection because it floods all the time. So it'll either be put in then, if that project goes first, or this project, if it goes first. Actually, I didn't say that right. It'll go in when we do the reconstruction of the intersection.
Okay,
And that'll be quite extensive. We're probably gonna do the depot parking and we'll fly North Broadway. And that intersection has to be done because it's just the stormwater lines are collapsing and inadequate. So that's a great time to do that, because we'll be able to use, hopefully, most community crossing. That's an eligible item.
okay, number 3.
You bring up a good point though, Jim. The firehouse I was at for several years, we had flashing lights.
Flashing lights, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a good safety.
and you know, if you would see it flashing, well, most people,
Yes.
not everyone,
Right.
would slow down and stop
Yeah.
because the fire trucks were coming. And I'm not kidding. I thought 2 or 3 cars were gonna get nailed. And fortunately, they finally saw that big red thing with sirens going and stopped. But I thought, oh my gosh. And then I realized there's no flashers there or anything. So that's why I was asking. And then the second thing was down here by the post office, the stoplights. There is no crosswalk. The other day I went to the post office and thought I was gonna get killed walking over to my car because there's no sign that says go or come, and it's, I mean, it's, you know, this road is so busy.
Right.
You know, when I grew up, I'd ride my bike across it and didn't have to worry about anything. Now it's changed. but down there, it's, I don't know.
And we've talked about
Yeah.
that, Scott, quite a bit, off and on for safety for pedestrians. We have got the push button here. They've
Yeah.
changed it where it delays it for a
Yeah,
few.
yeah.
I assume, Scott, that one's gonna
Yes.
be next.
So I just talked about these two intersections. There, we've actually have ANF Engineering under design to upgrade these to smart lights, right? And first of all, so they're talking to each other. And then most likely there'll be sensors, so if nobody is waiting here on Pendleton Avenue, then they'll stay green,
Okay.
that sort of thing. But part of that is to enhance this. We went ahead and put just a few months ago, temporary pedestrian signals at this one.
Mhm.
There's a problem down here because this has 4 poles, that only has 3.
Oh,
The engineering problem we have to overcome is that the soil is only about 8 inches deep and then it's bedrock. And so
Yeah.
to put a temporary signal while we're waiting to upgrade both would be incredibly expensive. This only costs 7,000 to put in the bed lights.
mhm.
Put it down there would be 37,000. So that, if we may have something done in 18 months to 2 years, so why spend 37,000? Just get scrapped.
Because of a life.
Yeah, right,
I mean, honestly, because of a life.
right.
And, you see parents with kids that go, and they're not paying any attention. And I looked and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gonna get hit.
And
So,
I absolutely see it a lot with
Yeah,
my store
yeah,
being
for
right
sure.
there.
yeah, you
Looking out the
probably do.
window and we've talked about it and yeah, I'm, let's do something. For safety for the people
Yeah.
in the public, anybody.
Well, with the amount of traffic that comes through town now, safety has to be our top priority.
Fully agree.
And then I want to thank you that you have the hot asphalt now, and street department has patched a lot of holes. But my concern is, people come to Pendleton, and I was on one of the park committees for the park. Well, if you come down off 67 down Falls Park, as soon as you go over the bridge, you're driving on like corduroy. There are holes, and they've patched a little bit of them, I've seen. That road is terrible. Is there something in the works of getting from where the county stopped on this side of the bridge to at least to East Street paved?
I've talked enough. I'll let Denise answer
Yeah.
what the plan is for that.
Okay.
Oak Creek Drive.
Yeah, so we
Falls
did
Park.
submit for a grant application through NDOT, through the community matching or crossings matching. So we did submit that application this past fall. We unfortunately did not become a recipient for that. So we do have plans for this July application call out, that we will resubmit that application.
Well, I'd heard somebody had said that, when you go through the viaduct, there's a little bridge that only has one side and there's like a culvert.
Yeah.
And that the state or somebody was gonna come in and redo that culvert and then pave. But I'm like, is it gonna be before I die or is it? That road just gets worse. And people coming into Pendleton, if they come that way, what's the impression they get? I mean, it's not a good one.
Yeah.
And it's not good on your car and your tire.
It's our next project.
Okay,
We're just,
Yeah.
like Denise said, we put in, there was 400 communities that got turned down.
We've had about 200.
200 got turned down.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we did one.
I'm sure money's tight, but it's just,
Also, the Nixle sign up, if you text your zip code, so 46064, to 888-777, you'll,
you're thinking I'm gonna remember
well,
that?
I mean, you only have to remember.
I lost the first four numbers.
888-777 and text your zip code, you'll get those things. We will make sure that that's either in the utility bill or in the newsletter or online. Yeah, we can get it on a variety of places. Yeah.
Thank you. And I don't know what you're doing in the future, but you put up with me a few times up here, so anyway, congratulations and best of luck on you.
Thank you. Come on up.
Hi. So, first of all, hello, council, and hello to all the familiar faces and some of the new faces here. I know everybody is ready to go home, so I won't take long. But my name is Tammy Dixon Tatum. And for those who don't know, I am currently running for State Senator District 25. So that would be all of Madison County, which includes Pendleton. So I wanted to take a moment to say hello to, like I said, all the new faces and all the familiar faces. And when this is all done, because I know everybody is ready to go, but I do have some information that I would like to share with everyone. And if it's okay, I want to continue to pass out my flyers and things of that nature. Otherwise, we could be here for a few more minutes if I told you all about me. But I will say that from everything that I've heard here, you guys are doing some wonderful things. And I am hopeful that I can be a part of your growth and your development in the future. And I'll say this really, really quick because some people don't know who I am. I am very much qualified to run for state senator, District 25. I've got 3 degrees. I've got a master's in legal studies. I've got a master's in government. I've got a bachelor's in telecommunications, certificates in training, negotiations, and grievance handling. So I've got the education. With regards to experience, I am currently a civil and human rights director. So when it comes to budgeting, when it comes to creating policy, implementing policy, you name it, I've got all of that. But I believe that I'm most qualified because I care about people and I care about all of the kitchen table issues that are going on right here, right now. And I'm just, I'm not going to go into all of those things, but I'm just simply going to say again, I would definitely appreciate your consideration and your vote. I've got information about myself and the policies and things that I'm standing on. I've got a very long name, Tammy Dixon Tatum, one of the longest names on the ballot. So you're not going to be able to miss it. Please don't. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for
And
joining us.
congratulations to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Any other public comment? Okay, go for it.
No, I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you for all your leadership and guidance and commitment. I talked to a lot of people during the day just with my job and just being out and about, and they always ask how Pendleton's doing. And my first comment is our fearless leader, Marissa, is having everything under control. And might have not have said it enough, but I have appreciated everything you've done for the town, and it's gonna always, for the future of the town, you've set a high standard. So just wanted to personally thank you.
Thank you. I'm emotional because I'm so proud of what we've accomplished over the last 5 years together. So it's been such a pleasure to be here. And you guys have made it fun. And even on the bad days, we've had a lot of fun. But just a lot of gratitude for this entire community, but also you guys who sit up here with us every month. So
I can't express enough how thankful I am to have worked with you and your leadership. There was a lot of times you were our rock. You kept us all together, and I've been proud to work with you. I wish you luck in the future. You'll be great, whatever you do.
the one thing that I guess I want our legacy to be, or at least mine, is that, we get a lot of opinions and we all share. We don't always 100% agree about anything, but we always get along. And I think the public had a lot of faith in us because of the way that even if we weren't 100% on the exact same side, we kept it civil.
Right.
And I think Willie and I only really got in one big fight in the 5 years. And my husband's here and he wishes he had that record. One fight in 5 years. So I'm very emotional. This has been such an honor to be here and be in my hometown. And thank you all so much. And thank you all so much. So at 7:03.
I'm good. We do have a plaque that the town wanted to present. I'll go ahead and read it. Town of Pendleton, Indiana, presented to Marissa Skaggs, Town Council 2020 to 2026, with deep appreciation for loyal and dedicated service as president and member of the Pendleton Town Council.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And if you didn't know, I will tell you, I've accepted the role as CEO of the Madison County Alliance, which you probably are more familiar with as the Madison County Chamber. And so that is where I will be. And so as much as I'm crying and very upset about this, I still get to be in Pendleton on the best days. The groundbreakings, the ribbon cuttings, the fairs, the festivals, you will not be getting rid of me. Even if you want to, you're part of my weird family tree now. I'm an only child, so I've absorbed everyone. And so you'll still be seeing me. Andy and I are committed to this community and living here, and we will always live in Madison County. And so thank you so much. I know that this is out of character for me to get emotional up here. I'm usually kind of stoic. But that is directly related to how much this community means to me and how much all of you mean to me. So Thank you so much. And it's 7:04 with my baby gal.